Previously on The Nadia Effect. Hello, loves. So it's another Monday morning, and I am exhausted. I didn't sleep very well last night, and for some reason, my lack of relationship is on my mind today. I have to be honest and say that sitting here just now, I was hesitant to get on here and film more about my personal gender reassignment story, simply because the internet is can very much not be a safe place for someone like me. Off to a very crappy start because I don't understand what is going on with like food delivery services. When I first started, I felt like it was a good way for me to earn money. It was a good way for me to have flexibility in earning money. And now I feel like I get out here and I spend the majority of my time just waiting. Wow. First of all, you guys, I just realized how crazy my eye makeup looks. I thought this morning, because it was Halloween and because it's my last day of recording for the month, that I would give myself a different look. But now that I'm looking at it, I feel like a raccoon. Any raccoons out there? Hi everyone! It's the first edition of Once Upon a Gig, and it is my chronicles of the gig work that I do, Uber Eats and DoorDash. So I'm starting now with my mother, who is sitting to my right. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye. Oh my God. So the kind of stuff we're gonna get with me is my mom laughing at the way that the GPS pronounces the name of things, because sometimes it's hilarious. I just dropped off an order for $5.25, and now I'm going on to a next hotspot. So I'll see you there. Bye. Here I go trying to shop. I don't know what I'm doing, but here we go. This order is already pissing me. So I just finished a 30-minute workout, as you'll see per the footage. And so I've decided that since October was so busy that I really don't want to do a whole lot in November. So I start November off by planning a lunch with a friend. And so nice job not planning anything for November. I don't know. But anyway, that is not why I got on here today. I actually got on here because just to give you a writing update. Because yesterday was supposed to be the first day of me drafting a new novel, because it's November 1st, and what normally would be NaNoWriMo month has now become Sarah Cannon's Rough Draft Challenge, and also I believe Kate Kavanaugh's 100,000 word or 100,000 word challenge for the last quarter of the year. I am not participating in either one of those. I wish everyone the best of luck that is actually participating, but I didn't participate in Nano. I do plan to write every day, even though yesterday I really didn't write. I sat down for like 5 minutes at lunchtime and tried to get into the manuscript, but I spent that 5 minutes trying to find where I was in the novel. So that was that. So today after lunch, I am going to do better. I am going to find a place to write, and I am going to spend some time working on all my different projects, including drafting my new novel for the month of November. So I'm gonna try to take you along on that journey. I don't know that I'm gonna take you along on my lunch date, because I like to keep some things to myself, so I probably will not include you in that. I'll probably just get a shot of the restaurant, and then I will go inside and I'll enjoy my time with my friend. Hello loves, it's Monday, and you know what, the thing on my mind today is anyone still reading contemporary fiction? I was thinking this morning, like, how hard it is for me to figure out how to sell my books and how to get my books out there and how to attract my audience. And I was thinking up to myself, is anyone even reading contemporary fiction that doesn't include like a fantasy element or a or some sort of escapism element in it? I just wonder. So if you have an answer for me, please put it down in the comments. I find that no matter what, I would still write contemporary fiction because it's what I grew up with. It's what I grew up reading. It's what, made me love to read. But it's hard to keep like writing my books and knowing that there may not be an audience for them. So I was just thinking about that today. I'm like, the authors that I grew up reading were like Terry McMillan, and Elin Harris was big for me because he was the first, like, for me, I feel like he was the first indie published author that I was introduced to because he was selling books out of his car before it was even popular. And he got his deal with his publishing house only after he had been selling books out of the trunk of his car. So the next thing I was also thinking about was how that correlates to the YouTube universe and AuthorTube. And how sometimes you can be creating content that only a few people see, but how important it is for you to just continue to tell your story and to tell, and to try to find an audience for what you're creating. I often ask myself if the money never comes or you never reach the heights that you imagine that you would reach as an indie published author, would it all be worth it? And I would have to say that I would still want to create stories. I would still want to put my stories out into the world. I do want people to read them, so don't get me wrong. I do want people to read them. But I'm struggling, like I said, to find an audience for the books that I write. And that can be kind of frustrating. But it does not take away from the fact that even if I never find an audience, which would be hard if I continue to be consistent, I think that I would still want to create and I would still want to write. I remember in the first season of The Nadia Effect, I got so frustrated because I would create content and no one was watching, and I would grow increasingly frustrated because I'm like, well, I can't even find an audience on YouTube, so how do I expect people to take me seriously as an author? But I think that the more consistent that we are with our content and the more consistent we are with putting out books and telling the stories that come from our hearts, that eventually we will find an audience. So I guess I'm saying all of this to say that if you're growing increasingly frustrated with your momentum in your writing career and you feel like no one is paying attention and that things are never going to pick up momentum, I want you to know that the consistency that you put into your work and the love that you and passion that you show for your stories are going to pay off. And they may not pay off monetarily, but they may. But I truly believe that even if it takes me a long time to find an audience, I believe that the stories that I'm telling are important stories. And I think that's what you have to focus on in the end, is that what you have to offer the world, no one else can offer the world. And so even in your storytelling and even in your YouTube channel, like, even if no one's watching, you continue to create, you continue to bring your style of content to the internet and your style of storytelling to the book world. And eventually, I believe with all of my spirit that I'm going to find an audience, and I believe that you can too. So as I wrap this little check-in up, I just want to say that I see you and I know how hard you work as an author, especially as an indie author, having to do everything yourself. And I just want you to know that everything that you're doing is not in vain. And I'm talking as much to you as I'm talking to myself, because sometimes I think I myself get discouraged because I feel like I know that I'm telling good stories and I know that my books are good and I want to find an audience, but sometimes it is just hard to find your people. But I think as I continue to be more consistent, I think I'm going to find my people. I know that I'm going to find my people. And so that's all I wanted to come on here and say today. So I hope everyone's having a beautiful Monday and we will talk again soon. Have a great day. Bye. Hello, loves. So, the world is changed in a big way. Yesterday was our election day, and this is the day after, and it looks like Trump has won. It's a happy day for some, not so happy for others. I'm not going to go into a rant here about my feelings about Trump and his administration, but I just wanted to say this. I feel like there are a lot of people that think that because they are in the majority, that what they believe is right. But what I've also learned is, just like sheep, you can follow anyone, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're leading you down the right path. Then if you also take into account that I am a black woman, a black trans woman, then there is a whole nother layer to this, because where there are people that are unwilling to acknowledge that race plays a part in the upheaval here in this country and the history of this country, I am here to say that I acknowledge that our history is mired in things that have to do with race. Again, this isn't a rant, this is more of a reflection, because as a black and also trans woman in this country, I think I owe it to myself and to the viewers of my channel to acknowledge that we are in what I would call shifting sands right now, and nothing is certain for me personally. And I just hope, among hope, that even with the person that is in power, that things do not begin to change for the worst for my community, for other women that live the trans experience, for other men that live the trans experience, for gays, for lesbians, for people that are on the fringes of society. But anyway, this will always be a safe space for anyone, no matter what your religious or political beliefs are, because I believe that the only way that we infect change in anything is to listen to all sides and all opinions, even if we can't come to agreement. So as you go about your day today, I just hope that you realize that there is someone out here that sees you. There is someone out here that doesn't necessarily believe in this new administration, but also believes that there is still hope. Even if it looks like there isn't, there is still hope in whatever comes out of this. So let's try to focus on that. Let's try to be kinder. Let's try to be more loving. Let's try to be the people that we know that we can be, that we are as Americans, even if none of it makes sense. So anyway, so on to the next thing. So I just also wanted to say that my writing has been crappy the beginning of November. I have not gotten anything done. I have started reading, as you have noticed in my footage, I've started reading the novel that I'm supposed to be drafting this month. But in terms of any real words, that has not happened. So today when I get off work, I'm going to do my best to sit down and try to get some words down. Even if I'm just able to read over the rest of what I've written in the new project, at least I will have moved the needle a little bit. And you know, on this channel, I'm all about moving the needle a little bit at a time. So I'll check in with you later, but until then, have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Good morning, loves. So it's Friday, thank God. It has been snowing here since like Tuesday, and it's snowing again today, and we're supposed to get a heavy drop of snow, and I am not ready for it. I just want to say that with the current climate of everything, like, there are so many things going on in the world. And I'm trying to decide how to say this delicately about, like, how we have enough to be concerned about in our lives without the onslaught of stuff that's happened over this past week. One of the biggest things for me is realizing that as much as you love family and the people in your life, sometimes it's just not possible to sustain a relationship with them. I'm a person that tries to stay out of the drama, but I still manage to somehow get in it. And I'm just declaring here that I don't want to be in it anymore. If people come at me with their stuff or their grievances with another person or drama that's happening in the family, I don't want to hear it anymore. And that's all I'm going to say about that. As for the writing this week, the writing didn't go well this week. As you know, I have been working on a new project, which is my 7th novel, and I'm drafting it from, I don't remember how many words I started out with, but it was something that I had worked on previously. And I am now getting back into the project. And what I did this week was I read over what I had already written. To be honest, this is very reminiscent of what I remember feeling when I first read my first Elin Harris book. Because as a queer author, there weren't very many people writing about the gay experience, and he wrote the gay male experience so flawlessly. It was always beautiful, and it read like kind of almost like a soap opera, but with plot and character arcs, and it was just beautiful. So as I'm diving into this project, because it has both a lesbian and a gay character that are husband and wife that suddenly find themselves facing their own truths, I have decided to call this project Project Harris for now, because it reminds me so much of why I originally fell in love with Elin Harris's writing. So another thing has shifted for me in drafting this novel. I have decided that because it takes so much energy to write a novel, to draft a novel, to find the energy after working a full day to draft a novel, I have decided on a challenge for myself. I'm not participating in the Rough Draft Challenge. I'm not participating in the 100K challenge that Kate Kavanaugh has. Sarah Cannon's doing the Rough Draft Challenge. But the problem I've always had with those types of challenges is the word count thing. For me, I work much better under like a timed like timer. I work better under a timer. So for the month of November, I have decided that for the rest of November, I am going to do a 5-minute timer challenge where every weekday of the week, I'm going to write for 5 minutes in the new novel that I'm drafting. And I'm going to stop after 5 minutes. And I know that probably sounds silly to most of you, but what I love so much about this community, and what I love so much about being an adult and learning my own processes, is that I can do this challenge and not feel like I have to compare myself to someone else. So often I watch other channels where people struggle to really like get into the groove of writing and drafting a book. And sometimes it takes them years to write a book. Well, for me, I'm currently working on like 4 projects, and one of them I'm planning on publishing next year. And so for me, I would rather write for 5 minutes every day of the week, at least the weekdays, than to not write anything in this new novel for the whole month of November. So that's where I am with this. The other part that I have decided to focus on is on the weekend, I will continue to write in my projects that I've been working on. So on the weekend, I will continue working on Shadiah Greer Eats the Stage, because that is the next book that I'm planning on publishing. And I would like to have have this finished by December, which it's looking more and more like that might not happen. But then I also am working on the second book in my transgender diva series, which is titled Unseen, and that one I'm also interchangeably working on my third book in my Remembering June series. And so I had been doing that when I was not working, and so I'm going to continue to work on those projects on the weekend, but during the weekdays I'm going to do my 5-minute writing challenge. So I want to encourage you that as you're watching people draft their new novels and be creative in the month of November, to figure out what works best for you. Because sometimes the people that we watch are already living the idyllic life. They're living as writers, and that's all that they do all day. They're living as writers and creators, and they have courses that they sell and things like that. And we sometimes feel like we don't measure up because we are not full-time writers. We also have to hold down jobs. But I want to say this, that we are just as creative, we are just as innovative as these people that are out here living a full-time writer life, but we also have to work. And so we have to adjust our lives and our creativity around our work, unfortunately. So go forth and create is the bottom line. Whether you spend 5 minutes a day creating or you spend 7 hours creating, create, because you are a creator. And the bottom line is that you're not ever going to have any success in your creativity if you want to be monetized in your creativity if you're not doing the work. So continue doing the work. And happy Friday, and I hope you have a great day. Bye for now.